the heck did I do with it? I don't even know. That's actually kind of a joke. Yeah, well, I mean, I actually do know what I did with it, and I just realized right now that I left it outside overnight. Fortunately, I brought the remote in. That's where I got this camera from. So anyways, this is RC Guy Garage, and what we're going to do today is we're going to work on the Arrma Typhon to see what's going on and why the Diffs sound so loud, and then maybe to also address a little bit of that rear wheel hop that I'm getting on my track conditions. That's the difference. The setup that I do on my vehicle isn't necessarily going to be the setup that you need. That's why when people ask, you know, well, what shock weight oil are you using? What diff, weight are you using? What's your setup? It's interesting maybe to know, but your conditions most likely will never be what my conditions are. So temperature, how I drive, that's a big one. How I drive, and then obviously what I like concerning a vehicle and how it drives. I'm different. If you see the video of what I did to my wife's Traxxas Max, people question, what the heck did you do it like that for? And, well, this is the reason why, because that's how I drive. Now, would it probably make it a little bit easier for my wife to handle her Traxxas Max if I changed the diff fluids to maybe something that was lighter? Yes. But my wife doesn't know any different, so when she drives this, it's gonna kind of force her to drive the vehicle and not have the vehicle drive itself. So it might give a slightly less pleasurable experience in a sense, but it's also going to cause her to handle the truck and not have the truck do all the work. And then later, if I tune it down, then the truck will do the work, and then she'll already have the knowledge of how to handle the vehicle. At least that's the way I live my life. So let's go outside and grab that Typhon. So I guess I have to say I am pretty fortunate right now that we haven't had rain for, I think, the past 4 or 5 days. I honestly, I don't even remember how long it's been, but we haven't had rain. Obviously, we have morning dew, and I'm really not concerned about that, but I've got to stop doing this. I have to stop doing this. Leaving these RCs out here like I'm leaving them to die. So anyways, this is RC Guy Garage. Let's grab this Typhon, bring it inside, and see what's going on with this car. Sometimes you just gotta go, geez, I'm an idiot. Are you kidding me? I left the windows open? Oh my God, where is my brain? All right. So I've got the Arrma TLR Typhon. No, just kidding. This is just the regular Arrma Typhon, not TLR tuned. And a couple of people have asked, Guy with the TLR out, why didn't you get that? Why did you get this? Well, I bought this before the TLR came out. And to be honest with you, I'm more of that underdog kind of person, meaning even if I'm the underdog, I like forcing. It's called forcing against. That's the way I've been my entire life, was always been to force against the norm. And I want to take this thing and rip it against something else. Pretty soon on the channel, you're going to be seeing another vehicle, a brand new one from that company right there called Hibao. And I feel that it's probably a vehicle that's either an in-between of that Typhon from Arrma, and then the Typhon TLR tuned, which is the LOSI inspired Arrma Typhon. So I feel like it either has a place right in between being RTR and also a roller, but it has that place, I believe, right in between the two vehicles. Like, you'll see what I'm talking about when I do finally bring that car out to the channel. Hibao is coming out with a Hyper VS2. I feel like it's going to be a very good competitor to my vehicle, which is the Typhon, that I am going to effectively tune. Again, this one's more of a basher style, where supposedly the TLR tuned is like, I'm guessing, maybe above entry level. Like above entry level as far as like if you wanted to get into racing? I don't even know. I don't race anymore. So things have changed, man. I mean, think about it. I've got a 23-year-old T-Max that has just risen from the dead. So anyways, RC Guy Garage, I've probably said that 5 or 6 times right now, but you know who I am, and we're going to work on the Typhon. Yeah, I might edit all this out, but maybe not. Alright, so you can see we've got the Arrma Typhon on here. And the whole point of this video is to take this thing apart. Well, not take it apart, but, well, yeah, kind of take it apart. I do want to check out, I kind of want to check out the front end. I'm not worried about the rear end. The rear end's mint. I've had a bunch of landings that have been kind of like, you know, on this area. You can tell by the way the dirt and stuff is impacted in these areas and the scratches that are on top of the shock towers. But looking at the shock tower right now, the shock tower looks fairly straight. Doesn't look like there's any kind of deflection or anything, but I'm going to pop the wheels off, take the cover off, blow the diff apart, blow the center diff apart, blow the rear diff apart, and check this thing out. And then while I'm here, you know, I'm just going to check, obviously, you know, how things are as far as tightness. Seem fine. Good. You know, one of those checks. All right, so let's just get into this. This is probably going to be a long, drawn-out video, so not sure if this is something that you're going to want to watch. But I'm going to do my best here just to go ahead and get this squared away, just to see what we're looking at here. So I did take a rubber mallet, and I smashed the heck out of this thing with a rubber mallet just to get all the mud and stuff off of there, because there is some clay content in the back track, which is why I had to put in a drain system. Looks fairly clean inside. Again, considering the condition of what this vehicle looked like, it is fairly clean inside. Now, is one thing that I kind of wanted to say. Now, obviously the TLR tuned has these little blockades right here, these little deflectors that kind of help this. It stops this from happening. So when you look at the front shocks, obviously you can see that they're nice and clean because you don't have a wheel in front of them, you know, hooking up and throwing spits of rocks and all kinds of stuff towards the back side of the suspension. But the Typhon already has rubber boots. So that's probably something that you might want to consider, is that even though it has a rubber boot, I mean, look at all the mud and stuff that is stuck. I mean, I took a hammer to this thing, but look at all the mud and stuff that's stuck here, which those little blockades might, you know, might help block, I guess, some of that material from pelting the rear end of the vehicle. Yeah, I guess that's it. It does have a boot, but how long is that boot going to last? And does the LOSI have the boot? I don't even know. So somebody might already know. It's funny, it's got that little... What is the point of this? Like, really, what does this do? Is it like a finishing piece? That seems kind of... Is it literally just cut off from the nose? No, well, with the way the graphics are, looks like this is extended. It almost looks as though this piece is actually extended and this entire section is possibly cut out by the way the graphic looks. That's what I'm assuming. That's probably what it is. So I don't even know why this piece is on here. Thought I was missing. So I'm going to just pop this little piece off of here, just to see what's going on. This is going to be a very long video, so I actually might re-edit this and say that in the very beginning, just to give people a warning that this is going to be a long video. I'm going to be here for hours. I don't even know if I'm going to edit it. So why is that there? I guess that must be there to cover the hole to the diff. That seems dumb. I ain't putting that piece back on. Weight savings. That's performance, baby. Forget this thing being an aero shield. That's weight savings right there. Discard all your extra pieces for weight savings. Just don't do that. I'm just kidding. All right. So technically I don't need to take the wheels off, but I'm going to show you why I was getting that flutter. And it's common knowledge why I was getting the flutter, because with this style of wheel and how I was running on the track, you can see all the crap that is built up. Now, this is actually putting on a significant amount of abuse and force onto the suspension, the gearing, the motor, the ESC, the battery, because you've got all four wheels with this mud. That's literally, that's wow. That's better than mud. Here. That's worse. That's nasty. I'm just going to scrape off a channel just to show you. How deep that is. So this is going to have to get washed. This is going to have to get washed. So these wheels are definitely not designed, especially with these little vent holes or whatever the heck they are. But you can see how much dirt there is. That's a lot. That's a good sized pile of dirt right there. Look at that. That is just from scraping that small little 1.25 inch section right there. That much dirt. Look at that. That's crazy. So, yeah, don't run in muddy conditions with this car, because unless you want to suffer the consequence and then not wash your vehicle off, don't do that. Does have vent holes. The tires do not have venting. So that's a bad thing. Don't run in wet conditions. Now, these, from my understanding, these are supposed to be belted. These are the Qatars, right? These are supposed to be belted, I believe. I don't know. I think these are belted. Kind of can't tell. I thought these were supposed to be belted. They're either belted or they're not. You can do the research and find out if they are. I'm going to say they are. I don't remember if they are or not. But I'll just say, yeah, they're belted. You can hammer me in the comments later. Maybe I'll look up the information, but I doubt it. All right, so, yeah. So, number one, got to take these all off anyway. So, we'll cut. Cut the video. And obviously, just remember, these are directional. Does it really matter? I don't think it really does matter, but if a directional tire is directional, I mean, we're talking about a basher. Does it really matter? Like, on a basher situation? Like, a basher. They call this a basher. So does it really matter if you put them on the right way or not? I don't think so. I really don't. But, that being said, there are arrows that tell you what direction to go with here. Alright, get some of this stuff out of here. So I can stay there. And this is the wheel that I was having the flutter with. I could hear it when it was going by. I think I could actually see it too. And there you go. Gigantic rock stuck inside. That is why I was getting that flutter. So I'm going to say that these are belted because, yeah, I'm just going to say, but that's why I was getting the flutter. Look at all the sand buildup in this wheel. So just watch your wheels. That is a rock. Yeah, that literally was the side. I could hear it as it was driving by. Hear it, and I could see it with my own eyes, which is funny. The camera, I don't think, picked it up. I don't remember if I had 2 cameras going during that rip. All right, so I want to go after... gonna go after the front because I feel maybe it's a little easier. Again, could be wrong. I'm not going to bother with the front shocks. I am just going to check them to see if I hear any air bubbles. But I'm not going to bother doing any kind of tuning for the front shocks because I feel that the front is probably fine. So you've got the 5.5 box for the nuts on here, and then you've got a bigger 2mm. Well, not bigger, but you got a 2mm. You don't have to pull this out all the way to slide this pin out. It's just you pop it up. You don't have to take it out. Just pop it up on both sides. Pop it up a couple turns. Slide out your pin. You don't even have to slide the pin out all the way, but I just did. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this out of here. Which is probably better to pop it from the bottom first and just give it a squeeze. A lot of spring tension on that, which is good, and I'm not hearing any air bubbles. Pop it out from the bottom, and look at the boot. So the boot slid off on this one. It actually looked like, yeah, so the boot slid off on this one. So fortunately, it's the front, so yeah. So we're going to have to go ahead and slide that boot back on. Hopefully it'll stay in place. But we're going to slide the boot back on that one. Going to go after this, and you can see all the junk that's in here. This bench is going to be nasty by the time I'm done here. And it would be a good idea to clean this, but I'm not going to bother. So I will probably wash this down. All right, so to get at this differential, you need to release the sway bar end links. So I'm going to just release the sway bar end links. I believe that's 1.5. I think. And I'm gonna throw this up on a lift. You know, this lift right here. Red Cat Racing Kaijus. Don't forget about that new Kaiju EXT that's coming out. It looks like a mint vehicle. Man, the amount of dirt that's on this thing is ridiculous. Alright. I'm gonna change camera direction here. Get you in a little bit closer and get you more in my way. I know it sounds funny, but the distance, like this doesn't even fit. That's how close you are. So I'm just gonna do the workaround. So I said 1.5 just to loosen this up, and don't over tighten these. Very easy to over tighten. So loosen that one. Loosen this one. I'm going to go after 1, 2, 3, 4, and that should pop off, revealing the thing there. And that's a 2.5, not a 2. Got the coffee shakes. I should be using my tripod. What am I doing? Wasting time here. So this cover should just pop off right now. I think. Or is that pin in the way? I can't remember if this pin is in the way. I keep forgetting. Because I believe on one of the vehicles that I had, I believe the pin was in the way or something. So how can I pop this out? There we go. So the pin's not in the way. I think I thought it was in the way. Grease-wise, I mean, that's pretty good. I definitely would want more. But grease-wise, that is pretty mint. Yeah, I'm satisfied with that grease that's in there. So here's the negative about having an exposed diff like this. So I can't just add grease. Well, actually, did I get rocks in there? I got rocks in there. So when I pulled this cover off, there was grit hiding behind this cover, and the grit dropped in there. So I am going to have to clean this all out. Yep. Dang. All right. So that's one of the reasons why you're supposed to clean your RC, especially if you're going to work on it. All right, so this should pop out. What I want, actually, you know what I want to do right now? I want to see what is the... That, I'm going to say, so what I'm doing is I'm stopping the cup from spinning on the other side. And that seems like... I'm trying to stop the cup. That play seems excessive. It seems excessive. Could be wrong, but that does seem excessive. So, I'm not seeing any shim. Yeah, there's no shim on there. I might pop a shim in there just to see, but I do have to clean that all up now because I did get grit in there. So that is something you got to be careful of. So really the right way to do this would be to pull this thing completely out. I just don't feel like I want to go through that hassle. But I know junk just dropped in there too. I mean, these gears would probably eat up a little piece of sand anyway, but still not a good idea. So I want to say they did put a... this thing does have a good amount of grease in there. But not to my liking. I usually like to put a lot more grease in there than what's typical. So mine is definitely going to be different. But got to get this sand that I can see that's in there out of there. Seems like that's okay. The grease will stop some of the dirt anyway, but it's still not good practice to do what I just did. All right, take that, move that out, and move that out. Nice fresh paper towel. Just want to crack this open and see what we're looking at here. Just want to see what it felt like first. That's the first thing to do. See what it feels like first. So what are we looking at here? That is sufficiently filled. I am very pleased with how that looks. That is definitely sufficiently filled, so I can go ahead and just close that bad boy right back up. That looked great. So the sound maybe that I'm hearing is either from center and or just the ring and pinion. That was surprising. Oh, cross-threading. What are you doing, guy? Why are you cross-threading it? I got it going on right? Yeah, I do. I usually take I do like a locator, normally. That felt like it was cross-threading. We don't want to cross-thread nothing. As far as fluid weight, I don't even know. Thick. Maybe like 100 or something. That was surprising. That was mint. Wow. 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 This must be an old Typhon. I don't know. Somebody must have been having a good day when they built this. Which way was the gear in there? I think it was this way. So I'm going to toss this in, right? And I know I had said, pretty sure that's the right way, right? Yeah. No, it's the wrong way. It's the other way, guy. How do I know? When I just rotated it. Wow. Rotated it and then realized it's the other way. It would have been terrible. Imagine that. Button this thing up. Why is it? It doesn't feel like though. Well, I thought it was the other way. Maybe I'm just used to seeing it the other way or something. I don't know. But that's the right way. I could tell because everything's operating forward. So that's the right way. Wrong. There is no side-to-side play. Why do I don't know. Not feeling anything. I'm going to go ahead and smear the my grease in there. This is the stuff that I use. This is a Permatex Silicone Extreme Brake Parts Lubricant. I have both the purple and this stuff. This is the stuff that I recommend right here. Don't waste your time with the purple. The purple's too thick. This stuff is perfect for what I do. I'm different. I don't do things like normal. So this is just how I prefer how to do it. I'm not telling you to do it. This is just what I do. And this is how much I will slap in there too. I will slap a good amount of this junk in there because this stuff seems to be fluidic, if that's even a word. Fluidic. Coming up with all kinds of words. Monopolistic, fluidic. Oops. Monopolistic. If you don't know what I'm talking about when I say monopolistic, go watch the video I just posted. I was going to say this morning because it's this morning for me, but it's yesterday for you. Because today is today, and yesterday is, like, today, or something. I don't know. I'm not good with timeline. So that's what I'm going to throw in there. That should be fine. Want to make sure that I don't have any grit in here. Probably just clean this off. Not probably. I am cleaning it off. So there is little fine grit, almost similar to diamond dust, that's in these channels right here. So gotta make sure that it really gets nice and clean so that this can sink on there and not have an issue. So just like that, I think that's pretty good. Bumper's in the way a little bit. Make Make sure this sway bar is out of the way. It's funny how that pin is, it actually is kind of in the way. That pin is kind of in the way when you do this. So I think we're good. Do yourself a favor and go to BJ's. Buy yourself a whole case of this stuff right here. Paper towels. And then obviously always be careful when you're reinstalling these fasteners. I'll buzz them down, but then I'll hand torque it. I'll just give it a hand torque. And then wipe up any excessive grease, because that will stick to those areas like a magnet. And now I feel my front differential is going to be a little bit quieter if it was part of that issue. And now, now to go ahead and feed my sway bar in, which isn't going to work because I knew I should have fed it in. I was thinking it, I just didn't do it. So don't forget to feed your sway bar into place. Otherwise, it's going to be a problem. So maybe just take your stinking sway bar all the way off, so you don't end up with the issue that I just did. Because it is easier to feed it in without without having that thing there. So, and you can see the grit that's in there. So go ahead and stuff that in that side. Stuff it in here. Now you see when I slipped off? It's because I looked over at the camera. Isn't it funny how that works, man? I looked over at the camera and my hand flipped with it, with my head turning. All right. And these ones you just have to be careful with, because these can strip out so easy. These, you do not tighten these really. You're just kind of keeping this in place. That's all that is. And normally what I like to do, which I'm not paying attention, is I like to have it so that it's just touching the tip of my finger on the back side. Make sure that one's doing the same thing. That's just how I do it. It just touches the tip of my finger on the back side, and then I just kind of tighten it down with care. So we're good here. See how this operates. Nice! Sway bar's doing its work. Something feels tight though. So I'm also noticing too, we got spacers on the bottom, right? Which are spacing out the bottom. There's no spacers on the top though. So why is that? Why are there spacers on the bottom but no spacers on the top, and there's a space? That's a little loose. So I'm going to just give this a tweak. Just to give it a little... Oh, that backed out. This backed out. I normally use plumber's tape on those when I feel they're getting loose, but I'm just going to leave it, and I'll take it for another rip and see if they loosen up. If they loosen up, I'll go ahead and use the plumber's tape, because this could be factory. I feel pretty confident that I didn't check this thing. Yeah, that bottom one is loose too. That's okay. All right, so that's good. So now we can go after the rear diff. I'll leave the center diff for last. So I am going to get, I believe, I think I can take this off without taking the wing off. But in order to do that, I'm going to remove this. I almost want to remove that just to get it out of my way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this up a little bit. There's some stuff that I know is going to want to slide into this rear diff. I almost feel like I do want to take that little plastic piece off, maybe to just give myself that little bit of room, because I think it very slightly or minorly tips down into this little back brace, I believe. I could be wrong. Like I'm only taking this off because I think it just impedes. I think it just impedes the ability to be able to get that off just a touch. I think. Could be wrong. And do I have to take out screws on the back, or does this? I thought this plastic piece just pops off. Is this an integrated piece? Ah, crap. It's 2 screws holding that in. Okay. So there are, I think these 2 screws may be clamping it. God, look at that. Oh my God, I just made a mess. Use an air compressor. Works better. Not sure if that's one of those pieces that slides in, or it's just clamping it. But I thought this piece comes off independently. Give it a couple knocks. See what happens. I think that is that way. Why isn't it coming off? Come on. There we Yeah, so it did slide into that little piece. All right. I don't see any shims on here. So now I'm going to go ahead and flip this back over. Getting after those screws, I can't get at it. So I do have to take the wing off. Son of a... That's bent. So is that one? I have to just, can I, oh, okay, so I can flip it up. All right. So it's kind of like the, it's the Kraton or the Outcast. Whoa. And the back has grease, but definitely I would put way more than what I'm seeing in there. I would want way more than that. And I'm not sure if I can pull this diff out. Let's align these cups first. I'm not sure if I can pull this diff out without taking a shock off. That would be a yes. All right. So it definitely has less dirt than, yeah, less dirt. Less grease than what I would do. So I obviously put in a lot more grease. This rear diff almost feels lighter in weight and fluid. So I'm going to be filling up that rear diff. That's sufficient. That really is sufficient. All right, so even though I'm saying that that's sufficiently filled, I actually I think that is 100K in there. Maybe not. No, that's not 100. What is that? At least I don't think it's 100. It could be used 100. Because obviously sometimes a fluid is more fluidic. I usually use this driver. It's just a flat blade to just get in there and just check, see what the fluid is. Maybe it is 100. Yeah, that might be 100. Yeah. All right. hard to tell. I think it is 100 though. All right. What I'm going to do, because I'm having a hard time deciphering what this is, I'm going to let this kind of drain out. I'm going to refill it with some new stuff. And I'm actually going to fill it. That is sufficient. That really is sufficient. See what I'm saying? A lot of times we have a tendency to overfill our differentials. But look at how that's coating the gears. That's sufficient. When you think about it, this is also rotating this way. That is a sufficient amount of lube. But I'm gonna let some of it evacuate out of there. And I'm gonna refill it with this one right here, which is 100K. And I'm going to what I call overfill it, because I believe that that's overfilling. So we'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I actually have 500. I don't have much of it. And normally I think I would gravitate to using something like this, but because this is a different kind of vehicle, I'm going to stick with the 100. I'm going to overfill it, which overfilling it is just going to make the 100 be kind of more than 100 in a way, I think. Like I said, I feel that the differential was sufficiently filled, especially that front. That front really looked mint, and in reality, I'm not letting all the fluid out. I just let you know, whatever's in there kind of like get out, and I'm just going to go with that. All right. And I'm going to now overfill this, and it's probably going to take a while for this stuff to settle in there, but I'm going to overfill it. Let that blob just do its thing. Let it settle down. And then maybe put another blob in it. And then take the sun gear and then just jam it down in. The only thing I don't have patience for this. You see all the air bubbles in there? So let's see if I can manipulate it. Get some of that air to kind of pop up. You can see the air bubbles in there. Look at that, huh? It's like looking at the solar system. If anybody's got any recommendations on where to get bigger bottles of fluid, leave a comment below so I can get, like, you know, 1 quart bottles of diff fluid, because this is ridiculous. Gotta wait all day for this stuff. I don't got the time for this, man. I got stuff to do, places to be, RCs to run. Oh, God. I ain't got time for this, man. I'll be back when things settle. What's up, Daisy? That is her tail. Boot looks like it's in good shape. All right. So I am actually waiting for a phone call or something. My son bought a house a couple months ago, and today he signs the paperwork. It used to be signing your life away was the joke, but in his position, I'm not going to say that that's signing your life away. It is a big investment, but man, he's only 24 and he bought his first house. I am so stinking proud of that kid. He beat me. I think I bought my house when I was 25. So he beat me. It's crazy. It's awesome. All right. So these are pretty much clean now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back these off just a little bit, just to kind of get to that grit that's there. You can see that nasty grit. Oh, horrible. All right. So I'm going to pop off the top shock cap here, and it's going to be super tight. So I actually think I'm going to go all the way down with this so I can get a better grip. There is a wrench thing on there, but I should be able to grab it by hand. I shouldn't have to worry about it being that tight. And then again, I guess I'm weak. Holy crap! Wow. What the hell? Alright, I guess I'm weak. Holy smokes. That thing is cranked. Alright, so never mind. I'll go ahead and put this back on. That looks like it's a 21 or 22. I'll be right back. Alright. So let's see. Got that. It's actually a 23. So let's give that a little hold and give it a little crank. There we go. Boy, was that easy. Make me feel weak here. Oh. Some grit. All right, so seems like the shock is fine. And this is just the way that I'm doing it. I want the spring tension there for landings, but I want to increase this shock fluid, which this is usually how I check and see what it is. And that is a pretty lightweight oil, probably like what, a 40 or something like that. And I usually also have a socket that I used to have. I'll be right back. Took all my sockets out of here. So usually what I do is I just use a socket and just stick it in the socket. It works perfect. So what I say, I think that was like a 40 or something. So here's a 30. Here's a 40. So what I do is I'll pop the cap off and give it a little check. And that seemed pretty close. See the drip rate? See the drip rate? So that's a 30. All right, so it is a 30. And because this shock, or at least I believe it's a 30. I'm no racer, so it really doesn't matter. Because it's a 30 and the shock oil's fine. Yep. That's what I'm going to do. Cheap. I'm cheap. Just like that. Good enough. It's called savings, man. Saving on the way to the fluid. Or saving on the fluid. So I'm going to go ahead and pop this one off and do the same exact thing. Cover this just in case. It's getting really full. But there's enough in here to where that should, yeah. Boy, is that so much easier. It's called leverage, man. Your skin just doesn't have the grip that Hex does. So I'm not even going to check this one. This one was a little underfilled. Look at that, right to the top. Whoa. Yeah, you know what? I need 2 sockets. So the 30 weight is now full. So what do I want to change that to? Do I want to go with a 40 weight only because my temperature is changing around here? So that might be what I do. Check the drip rate. See how much thicker that is. So I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll switch over to a 40 weight oil. And I believe that's going to be a change. We will see if that stops the rear end from popping up. So I'll leave it like that. I got to get another socket. And I'm just going to actuate the piston just to see if I can get the air bubbles out. Seems like that's all right. So this looks like it's a little overfilled, but it should come out as I put this in or on slowly. Here we go. So I'm gonna release it just a little bit. And go ahead and crank it up. And that should be fine. Yep, good enough. Wipe off all the excess. I will go ahead and give it a squeak of tightness. Just a squeak. Okay. Now, set this all the way to the top. I'm hoping this is what I'm thinking is happening. In my mind, that's what my mind is telling me. So, and I don't want to say that my mind is telling me wrong, but who knows? I'm not seeing any bubbles coming up there yet. Yeah, I guess it just sits at the bottom. So, I should kind of push it down, seat it down there. That's the spring rubbing up against. So we'll see if that will change anything. I will put the tension back on this, but we did bump it up to 40 weight fluid. See if that changes the way the back is going to handle. I feel that's the ticket for this. I feel that's what my issue is. So I'm just going to go with that and see how it works. I almost thought I lost the little ball end for the shock. Kind of did. Also, the way I do this is I usually face that opening. I usually face it this way because of the way the shock is tipped. I feel like what it does is potentially evacuate the crud that way. So I just feel like that's what it does. And that's what I'm going to go with. That's what I'm going to go with. Some people say take that little bellows thing off. Nah. Just going to leave it the way it is. Seems good. Give it. Give it a little tweak. So I'm going to try that right there. So you use the other finger to guide your driver, which when it's doing this, use your finger to guide it. The coffee shake. Alright, I think we're good there. Said leaving the front shocks the way they are. I don't think it's affecting what I'm doing here. So we'll go ahead and slide this little pin brace back in there. It's in. Put these 2 screws back. And those 2 screws. That one's stripped. I think it's stripped. Doesn't feel like it's going any further. Yeah, that one's stripped. Isn't that nice? That one was stripped. And it wasn't stripped by me. So go ahead and tighten these back up. I don't think I'm going to drive it, is it? Look at this. That's good. And that's good. This one seems stripped too. No, that one's good. That one's not stripped, but this one was stripped from the factory. This one was not. I can tell just by the way I just did it, so. Alright. Now, how do you prove that? You know what I mean? How do you prove... Oh, I'm an idiot. I'm a certified idiot. Good, I forgot. I'm certified, all right, man. Come on, guy. What are you doing here? Idiot. There's a reason why this goes in place. Keeps that little balling thing in place. Now, I'm going to throw thread lock on this because these nylocks seem like they're like, I mean, look at this. I can literally just do it like this, not put any tension, and it's junk. So these are going to get nylock. These nylocks are going to get thread lock. So I'm going to put little drops of thread lock on there. I just literally ripped off the end. Oh, my goodness. I'm telling you, man. Sometimes I am a walking disaster. This is my old thread lock. Oh, that sure does seem bent. I kind of did a wobble. That's bent, isn't it? That sure did seem like it did a wobble. Is that bent? Yeah, it is. I think. That looks bent. It is. That is bent. Wow. Look at that. Yeah, I'll loosen it so you can see it. Look at it wobble. See that wobbling? That thing is bent. Okay. So now I need to unbend it. So the best way to unbend it would be to make it go down. So, should be able to do is take this and go like, well, maybe not. I don't want to have to heat that up. That's a little better. Not perfect, but that also tells me that this needs thread lock. Because in order for it to be that loose, and for this piece to not have thread lock on it, this should have thread lock on it. So let's see. Did I unbend it enough? Yeah, I think that's definitely way better. So I'm going to put a little bit of thread lock on there. Whoa. That's a little bit too much. Get the puddle. Alright. So what I'm going to do is go like that. It's accentuated only because it's at the end. Now what I want to do is make sure this is nice and tight now. There we go. That even looks straighter. That was kind of an interesting, that was a little discovery right there. And I will go ahead and just do another dab on here. Actually, I should be doing it on this one. Now, that means I should check this one too, right? Oh, that one's tight. All right, so this one's fine. I'm going to leave that one as is. That one actually seems like it's all right. Got the thread lock already on there. That, I think, is also stripped. Yeah, it is. That's also stripped. So what, was somebody like, you know, had a Popeye arm on one side? So that side's stripped, not by me. It's just stripped. I'm leaving the front shocks as is. That front seems fine. So front shocks. I'm just going to recorrect that little boot. Should probably check these while I'm here too. Give these a little so that one's loose. Check this one. And that one was loose as well. So now those are tight. God, this is a long video. I think I'm just going to end this and I'll go after the center diff on a separate video. Or maybe I should just run it. Maybe I'll just run it. That could be a pretty good decision. He wanted a high five. Yeah, I interact with them. 'Cause he's fun, man. That's why I've got him. He puts a smile on my face, even though it's just a little robot. I know that's weird, but puts a smile on my wife's face too, because he's fun. Little desk buddy. Both of them are. So this one I can leave half. I'll put that one back on half. I think these nylocks were all right. Yeah, these nylocks seem to have a little bit of more tension The other ones. That'll be something that I'll probably have to check. So use the other finger to guide your coffee shake fingers in there. That's all set. All right, so we checked the front diff. Front diff was looks like think it's got 100 in it. I don't know. But it was very sufficiently filled. I like that. The only thing that I added was I added my Permatex silicone ceramic extreme brake parts lubricant for automotive use. And I use that for my ring and pinion situations only. Obviously, I'm doing brake jobs. Anyway, so that's all set. The center diff... Man. I think I'm going to leave the center diff alone for now. I'm going to leave the center diff alone for now. I'm going to take this out for a rip. I want to see if changing the shock fluid changed anything, and also see if... And then also, look at those wings, huh? I got the crazy cooter wings flapping right now. So anyways, changed out the shock fluid in the rear only, bumped it up to 40. It seemed like it was 30. The front, I'm leaving alone. Didn't seem to have any air in it. I did notice that one of the boots was off. I thought for some reason for a second I had to take a spring off to do it. It's just sometimes, man, you know, you just get caught up and not thinking. Leaving the center diff alone just for now. I want to see if I've stopped that hop and see if putting the fluid that I use in the ring and pinion situation, I want to see if that has quieted down the drivetrain at all. So, yeah, I mean, it could be a combination of things. It could be the drive shafts floating around. Maybe you might want to take the fuel tubing or O-rings and stuff them inside just to maybe stop the drive shaft from, because the drive shafts don't need to do that. So maybe if you want to, you know, pop stuff out and throw the little O-rings or fuel tubing inside just to kind of minimize that slop of the front and rear. So front and rear does it. Just want to make sure it's not too much. If you're using fuel tubing, make sure it's just a small little slice, slide it in, and then, you know, make sure that you're not binding. You don't want to bind anything. You just want to take maybe that slop out. That could be partially some of the noise. So right now, I'm going to take it out for a rip. I'm also going to take the other thing out for a rip too. And I'm only leaving this on 4S for now because, granted, half of the backyard track is better. The other half is still the same with boulders. And I'm going to run the Kraton on 6S. So this is going to be 4S. Kraton's going to be on 6S. This is RC Guy Garage. This was kind of like a shop talking wrench. Well, this was like not a shop talking wrench, although I did talk. This was just working on the Typhon, see if I could square away a couple of minor little things that I was hearing and seeing and feeling oddly. It's weird to say that, but you, after driving RCs for a while, you can kind of feel what the vehicle's doing, even though you're not in it. You're controlling it, so you can kind of feel. Yeah. That makes sense to you? I think I possibly also don't like the delay. So I think the Sentin, which this thing runs the same radio as the Sentin. And I don't know if this radio has a stronger, longer delay than the, what's this, STL3 instead of the DX3. I don't know what the numbers are. The one that's got the lights on the side there that I don't use. You know what I'm saying? All right, so anyways, once again, 5th time, this is RC Guy Garage. You know what to do. If you like this content, see this thing right here? See that? Smash that, all right? Smash it. Just do what you gotta do. Keep a smile on my face. If you keep a smile on my face, I'll do my best to keep a smile on your face. And I'm out. I mean, I suppose I should probably put the wheels on, but you guys don't need to see that. You know how to put the wheels on. So just get out there, put your own wheels on and get out and rip it. Okay. It seems like that's doing it. Oh my God. Oh, that was bad, dude. What the heck, man?